What I like about studies is that it has very few pieces, and all pieces are active, all pieces are engaged. So that helps us to understand the purity of the idea, of the pattern behind it. So while in the practical game you have many other pieces, and I don't want any distractions, so we'll just move to the studies, and we'll start with a very, very simple one. So the old one, classical one, and I apologize if some of the advanced players who are watching our lessons, they are familiar with that. Don't worry, there will be other things that are more complicated, so everybody will have positions and tasks up to their level. It's a simple position, and we start with the very end of this study. The white king is on c2, black king is in the corner on a1, white pawn is on c7, and black rook is on d4. Actually, the last move was rook from d3 went to d4. Now, white pawn is just one move away from the promotion. And what could be more natural by taking the queen and promoting the queen, putting the queen on c8. But here is a trick. Always remember, as we discussed, watch for your opponent's tactics. Black is desperate, but it has the great way of saving the game. Rook c4 check. It's a double attack, attacking the queen and a king and a queen. Queen takes rook, and you can see it's stalemate. Black king is blocked in the corner, no moves, draw. So let's go back and see whether we can improve, and what's the next logical move if we promote the rook. Now, two rooks, no pawns, empty board, normally it's a draw. But that's not easy because black king is in a really dangerous situation. It's in the corner. And by promoting the rook, we're creating a threat. Rook a8 mate. The only way black can protect is just they put rook on a4 to close the a file. And here is the classical case of double attack. In this case, it's a deadly double attack because white king moves on b3. It attacks the rook, but it also creates a threat. Rook c1 mate. And black is toast. If we look at this position, and it looks very, very simple, but it contains two elements of double attack. Double attack as a defensive mechanism, stalemate combination, and double attack as an attacking mechanism, promoting the rook and creating an imminent mating threat while attacking the opponent's piece, the only remaining piece. We move to more complicated cases. And again, we stick with an endgame. White king is on b3, black king is on a5. There are two bishops, black bishop on e3, white bishop on a4, and white has two extra knights. One is there on a8, and one was on c7. Now, what do we see in this situation? Black king is at the corner, and it's stalemated. So if we take this bishop, that's a stalemate. Again, black uses this mechanism. It attacks the bishop and tries to force the exchange of the bishops. So how white can, avoid these stalemating motifs? For instance, you can move this knight from c7, protecting the bishop, then it's an exchange, and you have a funny position. You have two extra knights. While technically two knights could mate the king in the corner, but it's not a forced mate. Unless your opponent is trying to help you, it's a draw. So black king can always escape, or it will end up with a stalemate. So what white can do? So it seems that the white is desperate because black bishop will attack the white bishop, and the stalemate will be a saving mechanism. It's a miraculous escape. But if your opponent is trying to use a magic wand and to create a miracle, so let's think whether we can do the same. And we also have a trick. When opponent's king has almost no moves, it means that maybe we can create a mating threat. So suddenly, we can discover a move, very nice move, knight b6, which looks a bit odd because we put a knight on the square where it could be taken both by the king and the bishop. But also we leave the bishop under attack. Now let's see what happens. If black takes our bishop on f4, then knight c4. I told you that two knights do not mate a king, an open board, unless unique positions created. So black didn't have time to escape. So it's a mate, and it's a very nice mate. So two knights and the king, and the bishop plays no role. Now let's see what else black can do. They can take this knight with the bishop. But suddenly, we open the diagonal for our bishop, and it's another mate. Because bishop on d6 blocked the only square for the escape. Now the only remaining move is to take the knight with the king. And now we have our double attack. Knight d5 check, it's a fork. And then after king c5, we just take the bishop with a knight, bishop and knight against opponent's king, and we'll learn the basic techniques how to mate black's king in the endgame studies. And one of the reasons I like the studies, it's not because you have all the pieces being engaged. You don't have pieces that are just having rest somewhere and at the side of the board. But it also emphasizes the art element of the game of chess. It's not just about winning or losing. Of course, you have to try to win. It's not just science, studying it, but it's also a beauty. It's something that creates a masterpiece, a picturesque position that I think you can enjoy. That's why we have chess composers, people who spend their lives creating these positions. And while many predicted after computers' arrival the end of the game of chess, we could actually see how computers are helping to find these beautiful positions. Because when you look at these endgame databases, you can dig down deep down and find some positions that are just so beautiful, and they make people feel happy. This is one of the purpose of the game of chess. It's that you can enjoy not only finding good moves, but also celebrating great combinations created by others. It's very important to remember that even if you learn a new pattern, and if you learn how to apply it, that even slightest change in the position could actually hurt combination, could actually change the evaluation. So let's look at one of the classical positions. So white king is on d1. Let's put two rooks on c4 and a1. And black king goes on d3. And black rook is on h8. So white has an extra rook. But this rook is attacked, and it's a double attack. It's not just rook is an attack, but it's also mate is another threat. So can white defend against both threats? Of course, you can simply give a check and sacrifice the rook, then it's a draw. But can you win the game? And here is the trick. So white can protect against both threats by making a temporary sacrifice, but creating conditions for its own combination. In fact, it will be a skewer. It's a theme that we'll learn in the next lesson. But rook goes on h4. It protects h1 square. Black rook can no longer go there. So rook takes on h4, and then it's rook a3 check. King has to move to the fourth rank, and then rook a4 check, and then white wins black's rook and wins the game. But as I said, you should remember that even if you know the pattern, it may change with a tiny, tiny fluctuation in the position. So let's do the same, but just move everything just one square. White king goes on e1, black king on e3, and rook on d4. Looks almost the same, almost identical. But now if you play rook h4, then black takes on h4, rook h3 check, then king manages to defend the rook. Of course, when you look at this position, so we should know whether white king was already moved, because if it did move, white has another way of defending. And that's why I say you can always look for concrete situation. Another way is making a long castle. Remember the rule? Long castle. King escapes and rook protects another rook. But of course, it's only if your king hasn't moved before. But so that's why every time you move, position a little bit, there are always new tactical opportunities. It's important to learn about all the patterns, but it's always important to understand how these patterns apply to the very concrete situation at the board. And now, after we walked around the world of double attacks, we looked at double attacks as an attacking mechanism, as a defensive tool. Let's have a position that could be quite a steep challenge. It's a serious one, and if you can conquer it, so think you're already at the top of the mountain. It's a complicated position because it has many pieces. So white has king on b5, queen on e4, rook on h6, knight on c4, and even a pawn, tiny pawn on b3. Black has also the king on b8, of course, bishop on c7, queen on f8, rook on d8, and two pawns on f7 and a5. When we look at this position, and it's, as I said, it's not so simple, it's not just immediate combination. Here is the trick that you have to create conditions for the combination. And that's important. You have to force opponent's pieces to take squares that will help you to deliver the final blow. So you have to be creative. So naturally you want to attack the opponent's king. But if you put the king on a6, creating the threat queen b7 mate, then black takes the rook with a check. So that's the problem. And we have to think how to use our king to enter the attack, to join the attack, but without being checked on the 6th rank. The main theme of this study is a double attack. Even extra hint, it's a fork. We may call it a mega fork, because one knight will eliminate the entire black's army. And now, having these hints, you would like to make a pause. Stop the video and think. Can you find this combination that helps white to use the power of the knight, the beauty of the fork, to gain the decisive material advantage? I hope you found it, but whether you found it or not, so let's enjoy the solution. So rook goes on b6. It's a first temporary sacrifice. Bishop has to take on b6. Now we have a chance to bring our king into the attack, king a6. The threat is queen b7 mate. Black king cannot escape because it's still mate, since our knight controls d6 square, no escape. Black queen is useless, it cannot protect b7 square because square on e7 is attacked by white's queen. So the only defense is rook d7. And here we have everything in the right position for us to use the power of the knight. But we still need the black king to give us a chance to use the power of the knight with checks. Fork, fork, fork. So queen a8 check. Amazing sacrifice. Black has no choice, has to take, because otherwise, after king c7, we simply win the queen. And after king takes 8, our knight goes into the game. Knight takes b6 check, first fork, king b8, knight takes d7 check, winning the rook, and another fork. And after king escapes, then we take on f8, and then we'll win the pawn on a5, and now knight will deal with this, with f pawn. So, and we're winning the endgame. There are many more examples, and I had to confess that I've been struggling to bring the best to you, because chess is a game of unlimited beauty. But I hope that this combination of studies, of positions, will help you to appreciate the concept of double attack, and it also will help you to find a way to incorporate both attacking and defensive double attacking tools into your practical portfolio.